How's it going, everybody? I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, or whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope you all had a fantastic time off. And seeing as it's been a relatively quiet past couple of weeks when it comes to hip hop releases and music in general, besides if we're considering the Nas album and the Roddy Ricch album that we may not want to discuss that much, it's been relatively quiet. So I figured since I capped off all of the year-end lists and I'm very happy with those, I figured since it's been pretty quiet and pretty dormant, I decided to cover one of my other collecting hobbies. I did have a collector's vinyl collection video that I released quite a bit ago. I still need to do the part 2 of that, but I'm still waiting on a couple more records to come in so I can do more in-depth video, because I have a lot of records coming in that mean a lot to me that are still currently on their way. So expect that video probably within the next month or so. But I decided to cover another one of my hobbies, which is sneaker collecting. Now, I'm not as avid, I'm not as crazy into the sneaker culture and the hype culture as I am into music, but I do collect a decent bit of sneakers. And I have bought about 4 or 5 pairs within the last month. So I figured, why not just give a showcase of my collection since there's not a lot of music discussion to be had. So I'm going to give some general kind of tidbits and kind of stuff I like about the shoes. And I do work at a sneaker store. I'm not overly versed when it comes to sneaker culture, but I do enough to at least sell them to people. And I think I do have pretty good general knowledge on a lot of sneakers. So we're going to go through kind of just mixes, kind of a wild card. I'm just going to pull some shoes off the floor because I have all of them on my floor and the carpet at the moment, and we're just going to go through them one at a time. And I apologize if it sounds kind of confusing or kind of muddled, but some sneakers I'm not going to have a lot to talk about, some I'm going to. So we're just going to get started, and we're going to start off with something pretty basic that everyone has, and that's the Vans. Of course, they're old school. They look great when they're beat up. They have this nice durable quality to them. It's a very good sneaker just to wear all season, even though I don't have the all-season like high top and kind of more rugged bottoms of the Vans. I appreciate that I can just slip these on and I can just go outside. And they do match up pretty well with most outfits. And I really appreciate that. And they're very well made. They do have a nice materials to them. It does have the suede up top, and it does have more of like the more durable up near the heel area. So I appreciate that it is well made, and it's lasted me for a good 3 years now. I'll give some more of the background there. They are very beat up, and they're dripping water because I literally just walked outside. But they're great sneakers, and they are relatively inexpensive. And so if you're looking for something that's just a general beater that is going to last you for a lot of seasons, especially if you live in like hotter climates, like these are perfect. They are good at any occasion. They could be dressed up. They can be more into a punk aesthetic or more of like a worn down kind of beat up aesthetic. They work in many different kinds of scenarios. So always recommend, of course, the Vans. And then I'm going to try to reach back some more. And these are more of my casual kind of, they're actually more of my dress shoes now. And of course, they're just some Converse high tops that I managed to get on clearance. And of course, I have my discount at the sneaker store. So I believe these are about $70. I got them for like 35. And they're just they're another nice shoe that you can wear in multiple different scenarios. I wear them more like wearing to more kind of trendier settings or more kind of dressier ones, because I find that the Converse kind of colorway and the patching on it and just the general look of it, I find it matches many different scenarios, many different places, many different environments. And I really appreciate the make of them, and they're very comfortable. I'm very surprised. What I originally thought is that it's very weak in the materials, especially when you get higher up. I thought that I was going to be like kind of flip-flopping them as I was walking around, but it turns out to be pretty stable. The only issue I have with these is that the tongue inside of them, it tends to curl in on itself. So when you're wearing it, I find that the tongue kind of curls in, and it makes the tongue part on the top of your foot very uncomfortable. But once you get it fixed and once you kind of wear it for a longer period of time, it seems to be something you can get used to. So Converse high tops, they're a classic, and they sell like crazy still, but I can understand why. They're a great made shoe, and there's general good wear for any kind of occasion. So now we're going to step into some more brand name stuff. And this one is the New Balance 9, I believe is 997. Yes, 997H. I got these on my honeymoon, which was about 2 years ago. I picked these up at a Winners. And what I really appreciate about these is that they're very comfortable. And what I've learned from working at the sneaker shop is New Balance is one of the more comfortable shoes on the market, and I can totally agree. Not to mention that the colorways of New Balance are actually quite underrated. I wish I had, I believe it's the 327s, that the colorways on those are ridiculous. And what I really appreciate about these is that they're loud, but they're not loud enough to cause, to not stand out, or it's not loud enough where it cannot be matched. It can be matched with multiple outfits. Not to mention there's reflective bits inside of the shoe. So this is generally a runner. So if you're looking to wear something that's kind of more of an outdoor runner, maybe you're running later into the night, there is a little bit of reflective material that you can wear with these. And not to mention they're incredibly comfortable, and they've lasted me for quite a long time. And I do appreciate the colors, and I do like a little bit of loudness on my shoes, but not enough to the point where it's totally crazy. So New Balance 997H, I highly recommend it. If you're kind of looking for something that's a little bit more of the inexpensive side, highly recommend any New Balance, really. So we're going to move on to some more. These are my work shoes. So these are some Nike Quest 4s that I just recently got about a month ago. And they do have kind of the same kind of jetting out that a Pegasus would have. But I appreciate with these shoes that they are black, they're minimalistic, they can match with a lot of different outfits. They also have the arch support that's built inside of there. So what I found with these sneakers is that I actually found out that I do have a little bit of arch problems. I have never really gone in depth of what's wrong with my feet, but I figured out I do have a little bit of an arch issue. Thankfully, with this shoe here, it does give that decent bit of comfort. And for longer distance or longer periods of time, working or walking around, I do even wear these outside. I find them very comfortable. They're one of the most comfortable shoes I have bought in a long time. And again, I just find they match up very well. And they don't get dirty that much, and they're very easy to clean. So Nike Quest 4s, if you're looking for an alternative that is not a Pegasus, because I know the Pegasus can be quite expensive, the Quest 4s is a good bet, and I think there's a decent bit of colorways in them. And seeing as I worked at a sneaker store, these were like $99 or whatever, but for my discount, I believe they're about $45. So good pickup. I really appreciate these. I wear these all the time. Now, let's see here. These are an oldie, but these are one of my favorite shoes and one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever bought. And these are Adidas Boost You Wear, and I believe they're 97s. And as you can see, there is an incredible amount of boost that is all over the shoe, and it makes you feel like you're walking on a cloud. And the materials are fantastic. Even though it's white, it's going to get really dirty. And I believe the bottom's not terrible. But there's just an incredible level of comfort to the shoe that is seriously unmatched. I wear these to work all the time. I get a lot of eyes looking at it, and I don't blame them. It does have a decent bit of support down in there at the bottom with a little bit more of the plastic, and you do have some suede on the side and a lot more of this more kind of rugged meshing. And it's a great shoe. I do have some problems with it, though. I find the tongue likes to creep in and start to kind of go more into your shoe. The pull tab on the side, that can rip. If I was to give that a really good tug, that's going to rip immediately. And not to mention, too, on the lacing where it's going through, there's another issue where it's not the most durable thing in the world. And I don't really think it's meant to be worn in the kind of environment that I live in, which is Canada. So, but it's a great look of a sneaker. It's very modern and futuristic. I don't believe they make this model of the Boost You Wear anymore. They've kind of leveled up to more into the basketball kind of version of this, which is a pretty dope sneaker as well. But I do appreciate the futuristic look of this. And again, it does turn a lot of heads when I wear it. So Boost You Wear 97, probably one of my favorite pickups of all time, to be honest. Let's get going. Let's pick up another one that I picked up recently. And this is the Nike Giannis, I believe it's the Immortalities. And what I appreciate about these is, again, the color. I am a huge fan of minimalistic colors, and of course black goes with anything. I appreciate all the details that this shoe has. It has Giannis Antetokounmpo up at the top, and then down to the bottom, it's going to be really rugged, but I don't know if you can see. But it has his family members on there, and then on the back, It has Logos on the end right there. There's a lot of very minute details that are really appreciative, and I'm putting dirt all over this table. And another cool thing, too, it does provide a little bit of the arch support, but this is more of a neutral shoe, so it's going to be a little bit kind of more of a flat shoe, but it's pretty good for basketball. I have worn it to a few pickup games, and I find that the heel locking on the side, I feel it's actually quite good, even though it's more of a low cut of a sneaker. And again, just the details that it has is pretty immaculate. I think the swoosh, kind of more of a see-through, is a nice touch, and there's a little bit of the backwards kind of swoosh on the side there. There is a lot of nice kind of intricate details that the shoe has that if you were to see it on a shoe wall like I did, you would not notice all the details, but once you look up close, there is a lot of nice details, and not to mention it works well with everything. If you're just looking for just even a general shoe just to kind of jazz up your collection a little bit. So Giannis Immortalities, another great pickup. I believe I got these for like $45 or something like that. Now let's keep going. Let's keep trucking along. These are another pickup I got a long time ago. I actually haven't worn these in a long time, but these are Adidas Street Balls. And when these came out, I saw a lot of negative comments because obviously you're going to name these Street Balls. Why are they not a basketball shoe? And they're actually a remake from a shoe, I believe, back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. But this shoe I really appreciate because it kind of has the kind of bulky look that the Yeezy shoes have, but it's a lot more inexpensive per se. So I appreciate that this is more of a cheaper shoe, but it does give you that kind of chunky, kind of more rugged look, not to mention it has the military colors. And the materials on it are quite durable. There's more reflective stuff inside of the 3 stripes. And I just really enjoy the shoe. There's not really much bells and whistles to it, but I just really appreciate the look, and I appreciate that it has more of that kind of hypebeast kind of look with a lot less of the price that's going to be nuts. So Street Balls, there's tons of colorways for it, but the one that I saw that I was going to pick up was actually an all orange kind of colorway that had a little bit of a black gradient going towards the back end. But I found these, and I believe they were $60 on the Adidas website, so I had to cop them. And not to mention they were right to my size, so I was really happy about that. And this was more earlier on in my sneaker collection. So Adidas Street Balls, great shoes. Keep going. There is so many. Goodness sakes. I'll grab my winter ones. So I've worn these for about a couple of winters now. These are Nike Path Winters. I grabbed these for when I was not working at the sneaker shop. And they are a nice shoe per se, but the problem is you promote this as a winter boot, but there is no tread on it whatsoever. It basically has the tread you would see on like a Court Vision Low or even an Air Force One. It has the exact same tread, so while like the upper is a lot more insulated, the kind of tongue is more durable, and there's more kind of like these more metal parts to it. It's basically false advertising, to be honest. I do enjoy them, and I do wear them when I'm like blowing snow or whatever, but these are not, they're much more of just like a casual boot you would wear outside, kind of like more of like a Manoa or something like that. It's not going to be something that you will wear like a Timbo or something you wear like a Columbia or a North Face even. This is much more of just a casual kind of trend boot. But if you are looking for something like that, don't expect anything like heavy duty or durable. It's just a nice looking winter boot. Basically just more of a casual trend boot for something in the winter. But it's not bad, and I believe I got them for like $30 when I was not working at the time. But they're not bad. They're just something I'm not going to wear all the time, of course, because they're much more seasonal. Keep going. What's another one I can grab? I'm going to have to reach back for a second. I might as well get into a Jordan, because these are one of my most recent. I actually picked up a couple more that you're going to see in a second. But these are Jordan Liftoffs that I picked up at a Nike outlet just inside of Ottawa. And when I saw these shoes, I just immediately gravitated towards them because I know there was a Space Jam colorway of one of the Jordans. And, of course, they're ridiculously expensive. So when I saw this, and not to mention it was a rather inexpensive Jordan in the more Space Jam colorways, I just gravitated towards it. And this is a Christmas present, so thank you, Caitlin, my wife, for really pulling through with this amazing pickup. The materials are so nice. They're so soft, and wearing this to work at one time, it was such a nice feeling. And it really turned some heads, and I can't agree more. It does have the more bulkier look. I'm more into kind of the slimmer look of shoes. I find when I kind of wear more of a skinny jean or more like a jogger kind of thing, the bulkier shoes don't really match well with me all that much. So I don't wear these terribly often, but when I do wear them, I tend to bulk up, and they do look really nice. So it has the nice little subtle branding as well. I love the more durable pull tab, and I love the nice little accents of purple that you can see on the Jordan tag on the tongue. And just all materials are great. And it does have a little bit of some shock inside of it, and it's just a generally nice built shoe. I did not expect to pick up a Jordan this year, because I've only picked up a few Jordans in my lifetime, but I've recently picked up a decent bit. And this is one of my most proud ones that I have, not to mention it's a Christmas present, so I didn't have to pay for it. So Jordan Liftoffs, they're rather inexpensive. I'm not sure if they're on StockX or not, but if you're looking for an inexpensive version of maybe of a Space Jam colorway, because I know they're incredibly popular and more on the expensive side, you can go with these, and they're still going to turn some heads and impress a lot of people. Keep going, and I'm gonna pull one of the most ugly shoes you've ever seen, and I love it for that reason. And let me just screech right back. This is the PG4. Now, these are shoes that have been kicking around for a long time across tons of sneaker stores. And it's because they are butt ugly. They are absolutely disgusting. And I love it for that reason. I love how incredibly bulky they are. I love how the lacing is completely covered by this ugly mesh. And in order to get to the shoe, you have to frickin' zip it up. Let me just do that really quick. Which I believe, and I theorize this with a bunch of my workers, that this is definitely when you're on the court and you don't want to step on your laces, or you don't want others to step on your laces, or you want to keep the laces kind of tied as much as possible so that way you're not dealing with them all the time. I can understand the premise of why this exists, but when you actually take a look of the shoe and you actually zip it up, it is absolutely disgusting, but I love it for that reason. And not to mention, on clearance, they've been around, I believe, for 2 years. So for clearance, they were $35. So it is quite an interesting pickup. But what I definitely will say about this is that it is one of the most comfortable basketball shoes I have ever worn. Mostly because it does have a little bit of a boost pad inside of it. Not of a boost pad, but a Nike Air pad inside of it. And the kind of the cushioning and the sole of it is very comfortable. And the inside of it as well, it gives a decent bit of room. It's a little bit more of a wider fit. And what I've noticed with Nike is that the Nike shoes generally are made a little bit more narrow. So if you're looking for something of a basketball shoe that is going to fit a little bit more wider, I think a PG4 is going to work out nice for you. There's tons of different colorways for it. But I can totally understand if you can't get past how absolutely butt ugly these things are. And I've worn these a couple times at work, and I have a lot of questions when I wear them because they've been sitting around for so long and people are wondering, it's like, why am I wearing this? It's because they're so cheap, but they're so incredibly comfortable, and I just like changing the game up a little bit, I guess, per se, in my life. I love really odd sneakers. I love the shoes that people do not, and I think this is just a nice little, not like a meme to the collection, but more of like an oddity of the collection. So PG4 is totally ugly, but I love them for that reason. Reach back for some more. Let's reach on this side. Now, these are much more of a loud one, and I remember I got these the day before my wedding. So these are the OG next levels of the Adidas. Just a big old sock. And they're incredibly hard to put on, but the locking on the side, it's great for that reason. It's a very durable pull tab, so if you just grab here and here, you can just slip inside of there, and while it's going to be very tough to get your foot inside of it, once it's in there, it's one of the most comfortable shoes that you'll wear, not to mention it really stands out. I believe this is the Atlanta Hawks colorway as well. And on the bottom, it's much more of a premium material. If I remember a video I believe that I watched, it is much more of a like more premium kind of bottom, to the point where if you wear this outside, which I have, of course, because I'm not really much of a baller anymore. I don't really play much basketball, but this will wear away really quick. But seeing as I have so many sneakers, this hasn't worn away yet. And it's just a really odd futuristic shoe. And I was really looking to get the black and white ones with the, say, let's just say it's like this is white and this is more of a black with more kind of a white gradient kind of inside of it. So it's kind of more just like a reflective kind of camel looking thing. But seeing these, I believe on the Adidas website, they're only $120, and they do surprisingly work well with a lot of outfits. And if you're looking for a very modern look, and I wear these kind of more abstract kind of joggers that are more like utilitarian, that are more like industrial looking, this does match that industrial look really nicely. I don't understand what these numbers are, but this is a really cool shoe, and I was so happy when I picked it up and I actually saw it in person. It is just a really interesting shoe, and yeah, I can't get enough of it. Still looking at it, it's just so odd to me how this looks, but it just works well. So Adidas Next Levels, the OG models. Now let's grab some more Adidas while I'm at it, and I'm gonna grab these guys right here. So I picked these up at a Marshall's. And they are also butt ugly, but these are, I believe they're the Tubular Doom sock, which, as you can see up top, this is a much more of a harsher sock. I have the actual version 3 of this shoe, but the issue I had with the version 3 is that the bottom here, as you can see, like, it's a very different kind of feel to it, and also there's a big old gap inside of here. The issue I had with the version 3 of these is that this wore off to the point where... And I didn't wear these shoes incredibly, like, I didn't wear them a ton. But the bottoms of them really wore down to the point where the paint was wearing off. So everywhere I walked, there was white paint being put all over the work floor. And I had to, I'm giving them away because I can't. But these ones I haven't worn nearly as much. And I believe they're actually a 10.5, so they're a little bit too big for me. But I love just the more abstract look of it. Not to mention the Doom sock, like the version 1 of this model, is much more made with durable materials, because the Doom sock version 3 is very, very thin. And if you like get into some dirt, or if you even get into a puddle, which I know you're not supposed to wear in those situations, but I live in a very interesting climate per se. These are a lot more durable, and these are a lot more, I guess, insulated, especially with the sock. So I do keep these around if I really want to switch things up a little bit. I do not like how thick this sock is, because on the other models I have, it does match more to your ankle and to more towards up towards the heel. This one is a lot more loose, but it can work with some outfits. It's just a very acquired taste. So if you're looking for something that's a little different, I don't know if they sell these models anymore, but the Doom sock is not a terrible shoe. It's just not one of my favorites. Simple as that. This is another one of my work shoes, and I love these shoes. One of my favorite Adidas pickups. I am an Adidas fanboy. I love all the stuff they release, and I wish I could pick up more stuff. But I kind of work with what I get. And these are actually the first pair of shoes I got when I was working at the sneaker shop, and these are the Adidas Xl9000s. And these shoes, I love the subtle details in them. I love the accents of more like this orangish pink. I am very deep into like pink and pastels, and I love just these subtle details of that in there, and mixed in with this black and gray, and just more of a speckled look. And there is a lot of reflective materials in this, like the swoosh here, the 3 stripes on the side here, this whole toe here, the whole back here, it's all reflective. So if you're looking for a night runner, the XL9000s are a great bet, and they're incredibly comfortable. And they do have the boost inside of them. I believe it's more of an upgraded boost as well. I just love these guys, and they match well with outfits. They're great work shoes. I've worn them like so many long distance and like long days at work, and they have given me no problems, and I'm looking to keep these for a long time. So XL9000s, probably one of my favorite running shoes I've ever picked up, honestly. And it was a great buy. I believe they were about $140. I picked them up for $80. Which was going to be at the sneaker store I work at. So I've gotten a lot of deals, let's just say. And speaking of deals, Have I looked at all of these? Yes, I have. So we're going to move on to one of the more recent pickups. This was honestly just a couple days ago, and these, since I've been picking up so many shoes, I just thought, it's like, why not just make a video since there's nothing to talk about hip-hop wise. These are the Steph Curry 6s, and these are the Dub Nations. Now, I picked these up at a Winners/Marshalls, if you're American. I picked these up for $60, and the fact that I picked these up for $60 is mind-boggling to me because of just how clean they are. And I'm not a huge fan of Under Armour, if I'm going to be brutally honest. Working around Under Armour shoes for a decent bit of time, I find they're incredibly clunky, incredibly unfashionable. They don't work with a lot of things. But the Currys can be a little bit of an exception, and these are totally the exception. I love the details of more of like this kind of webbing kind of style, that kind of gradients once it goes up to the front. The Steph Curry thing on the side, I think it's a nice touch. It does have the hover technology, which is the equivalent to an Adidas Boost or some Nike Airs. So they're very comfortable to wear, and there is more details on the shoe here. That's Bible verse on the end there, and I believe it says here 30-6. So of course that's probably, I didn't actually think about this, but that's jersey number, version model 6. I didn't know that on StockX these are going for like $150-$200 Canadian at least. I did not know that, and the fact that I picked these up for $60 and they were a clearance shoe baffles me. The only issue I have with these is that around this area right here, I expected this to be more of like a lighter material, but it's actually incredibly hard. And my feet are odd because I can fit into size 9 to 10.5. And what I find with these shoes here is that this part here is a harsher plastic. They're actually quite a hard plastic, and it cuts into my big toe. And it doesn't make it bleed, but I'm going to wear it out so that way it kind of expands more, because this is more of like more of a mesh, kind of a more harsher kind of mesh, or kind of more flexible material, but it does cut in a little bit. So it's not the most comfortable shoe to wear at the moment, but the fact I picked them up for $60, I can live with a couple of days of like foot pain to make these work. And honestly, I wore them today, and it was a lot less pain than the other day I wore them before. So these are probably, as I'm going to keep wearing them, I'm not going to let these touch any kind of outside kind of environment. But probably one of my most surprising pickups. I did not expect to pick this up at all, but some Steph Curry 6s, Dub Nation. Big W for me, honestly. I'm gonna give myself some ego points for that one. That's a big W. We're getting to the last couple of pairs, and these ones right here are probably my most expensive pair of shoes I've ever got, and they're from StockX. These are, let's reach over. These are some Jordan Max Auras, and what I love about these is these were actually the first ever Jordans I ever purchased. And I was looking at these shoes for a long time. Not to mention, I do like the OVO, even though it's not OVO. I love the OVO kind of colorway to it. And it's just a nice looking shoe that matches with so many different outfits. The gold accents on it are fantastic. I love kind of the more like rugged kind of Jordan branding on there. The tongue is nice. The lacing is fantastic. It fits really well to your foot. It does have a little bit of some absorption into the back of the heel, so I really appreciate that. It's just a great looking shoe, and I haven't worn this much because I don't want to get these terribly dirty, even though they kind of are a little bit. I have to clean them up though. But I love this shoe, and any chance I get to wear it when it comes to being more in a public setting or more of a social setting, even walking around the streets of Ottawa or whenever I'm there, I think these are always going to be my go-to shoes. The only issue I have is that Jordans have this really bad problem of terrible creasing. And if you can see on the side there, I haven't worn these a ton, but they are already starting to crease, so I'm going to have to get those shoe shields, which are basically some plastic inserts that go inside of here, and they lift up the shoe so that way it's not going to be creased as much. I think those creases are going to be staying there though, but at least if I can try to circumvent it so that way it doesn't show up as much, I think that's probably the best route. So Jordan Max Auras, one of the first Jordans I picked up, but now I'm going to show you the most recent pickup I've had. And the greatest thing about working at a sneaker store is that Boxing Day is one of your favorite days of the year because you get pickups like this. And I still have the box. I'm not sure. I think these are Why Nots. These are Russell Westbrook's, but they don't really specify in the branding. And I don't have a lot of the boxes for these shoes, obviously, because I've been having them for a decent bit of time. But the box on this is nuts. The nice gold accents on it. And this is originally a $140 shoe. I got them for $60. So, big W of a pickup. When these came in as a return, we have a massive shelf in the back where we keep all of our returns. And if the clearance shelf gets empty or it starts to get a little bit barren, we take a couple of pairs of these and we throw them on there. I intentionally put this up to the top shelf, and I usually on like the shelf, they're kind of showcased like this, so that way you can see the sizing and you can see it's like, okay, I'm looking for a size 8 that I'm looking to put on the clearance shelf. Or for this example, I'm looking for a 10 and a 9.5 to fit until the men's section of the clearance bin or the clearance shelf. So you look at the sizing, you take the shoe, you put a hard tag on it, and then you kind of mark it down as you kind of go by the general price. And the shelf is generally about 5 shelves high. I put this to the highest shelf, and I made sure I hit it, so that way instead of showing the tag and showing the sizing, I did it like this, so no one could see it. And so that way it didn't show up on the wall. Like, you generally want to keep it so that way you can at least show. But I made sure I hit it to the way back of the shelf, so no one saw it. And once I saw these and knowing that this is never going to happen again, probably, I had to pick them up. And just the look of these is just fantastic. I have not looked at these that much yet, but I have worn them and they are so comfortable. There is quite a bit of cushioning around the heel area, which I really appreciated. The bottom, ooh, that's a nice material, to be honest. And see, I'm just kind of ogling over the shoe because I literally just got it, and I haven't really got a chance to appreciate it yet. And what I appreciate too is that there's a holographic. If I can move, I'll unlace this bad boy actually. I'll unlace it so I can show more of the tongue. There we go. But if you look kind of there, it's reflective and it's kind of more of a holographic, and that's really nice. And I'm noticing like the gold eyelets, which is nice. So big W, honestly. This is kind of what inspired me to make my collection and to kind of make a video about it, because it's just like, dang, it's like, how many shoes do I have at this point? And I might as well. I gave away a decent bit of shoes, and if I was to show my other 4 pairs that I gave away, this video would be crazy long. But this shoe kind of inspired me to show off my collection at least. And these are some Jordan 1 Take 2s. Yeah, if I didn't express that or show that. But these are the last shoes that I got. I literally got them today as I was leaving. And I can't believe that I get such a big discount on these. $74 for these bad boys. So big W of a collection there to the add to the collection. And that's the end of my collection. I probably do have some other shoes kicking around and other shoes that I don't really give as much TLC to, but these are the shoes that I care about the most. These are the shoes that all these shoes do get a general bit of wear to them. People ask, it's just like, why do you keep collecting shoes? And why don't you just wear them out? And it's just, why wear them out when you can have multiple pairs and they last you a long time? I completely forgot also I had some Reebok Zig Techs that I bought in grade 9 that I still use to this day. They're so incredibly comfortable, but they're very beat up. But that's an example of a generally worn shoe that I've worn for an extended period of time. But I love sneaker collecting. I love collecting in general. And sneakers and fashion in general is something I really enjoy. So I hope this was interesting to you. If you're not into the music thing, I totally understand if you don't want to watch this video. I totally understand if you actually made it this far. I really appreciate you actually taking the time, because this is just more of like just a general, kind of just a chill video, kind of just a thing to show off some more things in my life that isn't really shown besides the music side of it. So that's all of my collection. I thank you all for watching. I thank you all for the incredible year that I had on the channel. I am looking to post more content, which we actually get some more music going on. And again, I appreciate all you watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Anything is great for the channel. And I hope you all have a great 2022, start of your 22. Rest in peace, Betty White. And I hope you all have a good night. Peace out.